Hey, good morning. Good morning. Well, it's morning for me. I am in the EST time zone, so it's 9 a.m. here. And wherever you are, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whether you are watching live or you are joining us on in replay, I just welcome you to today. We're recording this on November 4th, but whenever this is finding you, just know this card reading is finding you at the exact perfect time. Come on in, everyone. Oh, good morning. Good morning. I love it when you guys leave comments. So talk to me, even if I am in the process of pulling cards. I had to tell you guys a funny story. So, the way that this came about, this series, is that yes, the video is working. Woohoo! I just had the most magnificent experience last week of people just being so incredibly good to me. And every time it was reducing me to tears because these were people, strangers, just randomly being kind to me and giving of themselves in a way that was easy for them, right? But meant so much to me. And it just, I got so clear that this is the answer. Like, this is the answer we are looking for. This is it, is that, there is leadership happening at the political level, at the corporate level, possibly in your own life, at your family of origin level. And there's this experience that we're having on the planet now of externalized power versus internalized power, right? Who's the boss of me? Who is making decisions that are affecting my life? And do I agree with them? And a lot of people are finding themselves frustrated that they feel that, what they would want to happen isn't necessarily happening, especially those of us who are really here of the light, which I know is you because you were drawn to this, right? So those of us that came with the purpose to anchor the light on the planet right now. And it's not all of us. Like, I've been shown that there's 10% of us sort of are like here to be the first ones. And then there's another group that's coming behind us. Now, 10% of people is a lot of people, right? It's not insignificant, but it's also not the majority. So we, generally speaking, feel it so much when a power structure is doing things that harm others, that we perceive are harming others. Everything that's happening right now is happening exactly as it's meant to for the evolution of the planet, right? But when you feel that powerlessness, it is a falsehood. It is an illusion. And so then we must discover, where is our power? And I realize this is our power. When we come together as people, wherever you can, to offer whatever you can from a place of love and generosity. Now, some of you may need to put all of that love and generosity into yourself. Don't listen to me and think, oh my goodness, I need to give more, give more. You may actually need to fill the well up, right? Okay, so I then all of a sudden was like, I know what I can do. I can just offer a week where I am here, where I'm here to give card readings that I know you love, and then give a training, a group of trainings that had been running around in my mind, but hadn't really come into form. And so I met with my spirit team and said, if I do this, is this a yes? And I got my yes. And will you guide me? Will you fill in the blanks? Because I could kind of see what I could do, but it wasn't a full picture. And they were like, yes, just show up and let go. Just show up and let go. And I was like, okay, I can do this. And it felt so fun and exciting. So I did yesterday. And you guys, by the end of yesterday, I was trying to figure out what I should change the YouTube titles to, how to write the emails so that more people would know what we were doing and would take advantage of it, and trying to control the process. Trying to control the process. The one thing, first of all, that was going to zap all of the joy out of it, and also the thing they told me not to do. So last night I pulled a card and it said let go. And this morning I revisited it because, why should we only visit it one time? And the card came again. Let go. Let go, Patty. Just let go. So here I am. Letting go, just showing up. Oh my goodness, Lou. Yes, my YouTube guy. And good morning to everybody. And Rita, you just mentioned my story about kindness, reminded you of my story from my dad. And I love that because actually it's been floating around my head. So for those of you who have not heard the story, I'm just going to say it quickly because I think it really speaks to the time that we're in, especially if you're asking, what can I do? What can I do? Wherever you're asking that. And so when my dad crossed over, my mom crossed over first in 2012. My dad crossed over in 2019. I was able to speak to both of them pretty close to after they crossed over. My mom, I was actually able to speak to her immediately because she went through a period of decline from cancer. So her journey out of this plane into the next one was a slow one. My father died of a heart attack, so his was immediate. So there was no preparatory time. And what I experienced with them was my mom had time to acclimate. Like she was slowly moving out of this realm into the next realm. So she was acclimated when she crossed over. She was immediately able to communicate. My dad was a little bit slow. He would show up, but he couldn't give me any words. But once he did, the most important thing he wanted to convey, and he had asked me to convey it to my audience at the time, which is why so many of you OGs in my audience know this. He said, the only thing that matters is kindness. Kindness is the only currency when you cross over. And he was a humble man, and he was not someone I know that thought he had made a big impact on the world. He didn't aspire to that either. He was a good man that showed up for his family. But when he crossed over, there were these legions of people there to greet him. And whereas when my mom crossed over, it was like her immediate family. We're met by whoever we need to be met by to, help us. And there were these legions of people. And my dad had been an executive recruiter. He found jobs for people. And all the people that were there were people he knew, but there were also people who were like the children of people he had found jobs for. And all of the people who had been positively impacted by the efforts he had made in, finding jobs for them, because he was really good at it. And he was really good at figuring out what made people quality, would make them really good at a job. So he really connected the dots for a lot of people. And so all these people showed up, and the main thing they were conveying was how kind he had been to them, right? That he felt it all coming back to him. So we can send those ripples out. We can send those ripples out. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I love seeing all of you here. So a couple of housekeeping tips. These are being done as live streams on YouTube. So if you're looking for something that's already occurred this week, when you go to YouTube, there's a videos tab, but there's also a live, LIVE tab. That is where you'll find all of these. So if you went to my channel and you're like, where are they? You have to go to the lives tab to see them. Number 2 is I'm going to be doing personal readings for a select group of people. I'll do as many as I can, but it's probably going to be around 10, maybe 8, depending on how deep the readings get. And when I say deep, I'm going to just let spirit speak. The way that I'm going to pick people is if you are able to show up at the live at 2 p.m. on Thursday, you'll be automatically entered. But if you're not, leave a comment on the videos after the live stream is over, because when you're on the live stream itself, those comments disappear. And I realize I'm not going to easily be able to keep track of them. So just come back here, leave a comment, especially if you can leave a comment about anything that's moved for you, any ahas, any energy shifts you've gotten. First of all, it fills my heart to hear those stories. And it also helps people understand what's possible for them. Okay. So without further ado, I am going to pull a card for today and see what Spirit has for us to know. So let's see. What does Spirit want us to tell us today? Okay. What energy can support giddiness? What energy can support giddiness? Think about it. When is the last time that you felt giddy? When's the last time you felt giddy? I felt giddy when I first got the inspiration to do this. I can tell you that. I felt incredibly giddy. So what is the energy that will support giddiness? I love it. Slow down. Slow down, right? Now, slowing down is not the energy that I would associate with giddiness. Like, to me, giddiness is like champagne bubbles. There's little bursts of energy. But here's the thing. I mean, I know the sloth isn't, I don't think the sloth is actually smiling. I think this is what their face is just naturally like. But look at that happiness. Look at the happiness in that little guy. I mean, aren't they just so darn lovable? But the truth is, and this is especially true for those of you going a mile a minute with your hair on fire and you're trying to get to a destination as quickly as possible. I'm going to slow down right now. They're like, show. I'm going to drink my coffee. Mm-hmm. Who's got a cup of coffee, a cup of tea going on? I mean, the fact that I get to start every day with coffee is just so lovely. It's so lovely. Love my caffeine. But it's in that space where we slow down and we're not trying to achieve everything immediately that we really get into a space where then we can see what will make us giddy and we can invite it in. And then all of a sudden we're tracking what our soul most wants. And when you're tracking, and when I say tracking, I'm talking about you're doing the breadcrumb that's right in front of you without worrying about the big picture, right? You're just following the breadcrumb, but following it with an expectation that it is taking you somewhere really, really good. That is the energy that gives us space for giddiness. I want that for all of you. I want giddiness for all of you. Oh my goodness. And there's, I'm going to keep it to one card every day just so we can, for those of you who are on time constraints, you can really get on, get your message, get off. So that is that's the card reading there. So those of you who have to get on with your day, go, go, go. I did just want to say a couple more things that just popped into my head. One of my friends who watches these had mentioned I spoke about my morning routine, and I said I meet with my team in the morning, and she knows what my routine is. She goes, you may want to tell people you're talking about your spirit team, not your business team. So I did want to make it clear in case you're wondering what's a morning routine that really does embody this energy. Because my first 2 hours of my day really embody this every single day. So when I get up, and I'm offering this to you in case you need some inspiration around your own morning routine. When I get up, before I get out of bed, I breathe and run a connection to spirit. Now, if you guys have my journal, the Space for Magic journal, that process is in that journal. If you've taken receiving school, this is something that I talk about all the time. So this is not going to be news to you. And So I do that, but I've started doing something new, which is I say, I make a definitive statement about the day. This is what I'm going to bring into my day today. And then I ask Spirit what message she has for me. Now, I say she, but in actuality, when Spirit talks to me, Spirit always talks in a we. So that's really interesting. Always talks in the plural. Um, and then usually just a very quick statement. And for like months and months and months, the statement was let go of the past. And the last couple of days, it's been things are starting to move, just go with it. The control freak in me is really good. It's always given me the thing that I don't want to hear, or I guess I do, but it's a good reminder. So then I get up and I have my hot water with lemon, and it's like I do that before my coffee. I hydrate my body before I jump into my first coffee. And then I pull some cards and I journal and I contemplate and I pray. And if I'm not feeling the pray energy, I'm not really feeling like initiating a conversation with spirit. Sometimes you just feel like you need to be in receptivity. I have a full of like a couple of inspirational books that I read that I'll just open to like the middle of the book. I love Tosha's uh, Outrageous Openness. That's a book I talk about all the time. My daughter's reading Tuesdays with Maury, and she's away at school and she had left it behind. So I've kept that near me because like I like to be reading the same things my kids are reading just to have a sense of it. Sometimes I pick up Eckhart Tolle's New Earth and just flip to a couple of pages. So that is about an hour. And then I spend about a little over an hour walking. I haven't been doing that this week because I wanted to be here first, and it's kind of cold out, so I'd have to start kind of early. And I lost track of why I even started to tell you guys that. Oh, but then I asked my spirit team what I need to know for the day. That's why I started telling you. So just know when I say I meet with my team, that's my spirit team, which is our spirit team. I mean, I have some spirit guides that are just mine. They're here for my life path, but most of the spirit guides that are working with me are here for you as well. And that is why when I did decide to do this, they said, sure, you'll be offering a training each afternoon, which will happen at 2 p.m. today, like it did yesterday and for the next couple of days. But while you're offering the training, we will be giving a frequency upgrade to people. So there'll be a frequency transmission that's happening through my voice. And it's probably even happening right now. I truly don't know when it's happening. When I'm doing readings, all of a sudden a story will pop into my head and I'll be telling this story. It won't even be like a real story. It'll be like I'm trying to convey something to someone who's doing a reading with me. And I'll say, it's like if a dog grabbed a big branch and was running down the street with it. And then the person will be like, oh my God, my dog just did that this morning. And I felt like there was a message there for me. So it like, I don't know what's happening there, but an alignment's happening, right? So you might be hearing things from me. I'm telling this story right now. Everything I'm telling you guys, I'm just telling because it feels like I should be telling you. I don't really know why. I hope it's transmitting something really juicy to you. In any case, I lost track of where I was again. So then my spirit team told me, they'll be working with you because they're not just my spirit guides. They are here to help humans move through this particular point of ascension. And if you're being drawn to something I'm doing, it's because you are part of this team that came to embody light. And one thing that can be really frustrating if you are of that community is that you might feel like, am I doing enough? Or am I living my purpose? Or what's my purpose? Or some version of that. And the answer is just being. Like every breath you take is a gift to the world. And in a materialistic existence like we have on Earth, especially where power structures are built on ego goals like money and material things and like status and even relationships. I saw a friend of mine posted a TikTok, and I don't watch a lot, but I love hers. So when I see it come through, I watch. And she said, well, I guess it's embarrassing to say you want a boyfriend now. And I'm like, wait, why would that be embarrassing? I mean, she's in her 30s. Why is that embarrassing? I'm so lost. Why would that? But whatever. Okay. Now there's an ego thing about that, right? So we're in this place where ego defines success. And you, though, as a soul, success is existing. Wow. What an incredible challenge you have taken on to be human at this time. And what a gift you are giving everyone. So thank you. Thank you. And Rita says, what does magic mean to me? And maybe that's a question for everyone. What does magic mean to you? For me, magic is the experience when something that was not possible by human effort alone becomes possible. Oh my goodness. And that just popped into my head, another story that's been going around in my head. So thank you for that question, Rita. When I was young, I grew up Catholic, and I grew up devout Catholic. I wasn't forced to be a devout Catholic. I mean, I was authentically a devout Catholic. I have since left as a practicing Catholic because of like just the imbalance in female and male energy, not just from like there's not women leaders, but there's just an imbalance in conversation around feminine energy that just didn't feel comfortable for me anymore. But growing up, Catholicism felt good for me. And so when you're young as a Catholic, and this may be like, I don't know, this may go beyond Catholicism to all Christian or maybe even all Abrahamic religions, but no, it wouldn't, because it's about Jesus. So, the fishes and loaves was a big story, like a big foundational story they would tell the kids, because essentially it was Jesus went to give a big talk. Lots of people showed up. And then because it was going on so long, a lot of people started getting hungry. They didn't bring enough food. And so Jesus had baskets passed, and the baskets just kept filling with fishes and loaves of bread, that they just kept multiplying, that the basket was never empty. And so this was a miracle that Jesus had created, right? This was one of the OG miracles, because like if you're trying to get a kid to believe in Jesus, magic tricks are really where you want to go first, right? So it's one of the first stories we're taught, and it just becomes this like foundational story, fishes and loaves. But later on in my life, I studied in Ireland I studied abroad in Ireland, and Ireland is a Christian Catholic country, or at the time it was heavily, like the religion was very present. And as a result, inside the university system, there was a lot more depth in biblical exploration, right? There were a lot more theologians that were employed, and they were much more like highly educated in what the Bible was really about than what I had access to in the States. I also went to a public university, so there was less there than there would have been probably if I went to a Christian university. So all that to say, this Irish Christian brother, who is this well-educated theologian, explained that most likely, I think we were talking about like, are the stories parables, or are they like real stories? Like, did the miracle really happen? And they would explain what likely happened, like the parting of the Red Sea, what likely happened with that, and there's kind of evidentiary explanations that these stories could be real, just not the way they were told. And what he explained, and this was so powerful, and it applies to where we are right now, and what I've been talking about, is he said, most likely what happened was that many people came with more than enough food. Raising my hand. For those of you who have kids, or are the person that shows up to any like tailgate and you've got more than enough food. Like I go to all my kids, or I used to go to all my kids' sports events or whatever events. And if someone needed, medical, I had it in my car. You need a juice box, you need a allergy friendly snack. I had it. I had it all, right? And there's just some people are just like that, right? Control freak, right? But then there's also a good side to us, right? I had supplies for any situation. So he said most likely what happened was that there were enough people that came with more than enough, but they were not sharing because they were in energies of scarcity, right? We hoard resources when we're in the energy of scarcity and lack. But as Jesus worked his love and shared his love with the audience, that scarcity lifted from them, that clinging to what was theirs lifted from them, and they started to share. And so as the basket was passed, people who had more than enough put their extras into the basket to share with their neighbors, and that is why the baskets never ran empty. And that feels like what's possible right now. And it's not meant that if you only have, like, it's not meant that if a family only had enough for themselves that they were meant to share. That's not what this is about. It's about sharing from our overflow. So step one is get to your overflow point and then give from that. But this professor's point was, what is more magical? That Jesus that we knew within this context of Christian learning, that we know to be the Son of God, to be God. I'm not saying he's the Son of God for everyone. I'm just saying in that context, what is more miraculous? What is more magical? That he was able to multiply the loaves and fishes, or that he was able to inspire thousands of people to share that had once been in lack, that had once been in scarcity, which is the bigger miracle. And like at the time, even though I was young, I knew the ability to change someone's heart, to inspire someone to act from love rather than fear. That's the ultimate magic. That is it, right? And I think that's what I'm trying to do here. Is I'm going to give you from my overflow, because this is nothing other than overflow. Being here with you, pure magic. I love it. I love that I get to have my coffee with all of you. So that to me, that's the magic, is transmuting or transforming fear into love. That's the ultimate, right? And that really is what manifestation is. That's it. If you want to call something into your life and you're experiencing the absence of it, once you understand that you are the child of God, and again, God, you don't have to use that word, whatever word works for you. You are the child of a divine, loving parent who wants nothing more than for you to have all that you desire. You can then understand that if this is a true desire, and if it is for your highest good, it is already given. It is already given. And once you shift into that, it arrives, right? It arrives. But also have tenderness and kindness for yourself, and understanding that that's we're talking about magic here, right? We're talking about miracles, and it's not necessarily like easy. So it's not a simple process, because remembering who you are at your heart, remembering your divine nature is the job. That is the job of being human, right? That's the whole reason that we came to a planet. It just says, am I okay? Oh, first of all, I'm coming to these without makeup on, so that's probably why I look a little different. I'm fine. This is me. If you're new to me, tears are my trophies. I am feeling deeply moved by the amount of power that we have in the time we're in. And I am truly like humbled at the role I get to play. So, thank you everyone for being here. We are going to end now, but come back at 2 p.m., please. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Come back at 2 p.m. Eastern, where we're going to. The one thing I did ask them, I'm like, I can't keep flying by the seat of my pants, not knowing at least what's going to happen in a day. So today's training, although I don't know the full spectrum of it, is going to be understanding how to operate from the difference between what your human self, your ego is asking, and what your soul is. So it's to really understand what the soul's voice sounds like within you, and to reconnect, so that if your mind is warring with your soul, this training is really going to help your soul become the master in your life and access that voice going forward. All right. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Love you all.